Welcome to Take a Wander with Shebs. Now today is a look back at my talk with Chloe Ennis. Now I spoke to Chloe on the 1st of June 2020 live on my Instagram. You can actually watch the unedited version on my Instagram, but we spoke about her condition, which is fibromyalgia, how she goes about her daily life, and the remarkable thing is she's going to be travelling in the near future. So let's take a look at what she had to tell me on the day. Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I think you were supposed to be in India, is that right?
Yes, so when was I supposed to go? It was start of April. I was gonna go out to India. I have a lot of friends over there. So I started there like doing kind of like a placement, then I did work out there, and then I just, made friends and it kind of feels like a second home. I just fell in love with it. So I was supposed to go out to see friends, but also to do like a yoga teaching course in Rishikesh.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, and I also wanted to go explore some new places because like every place in India is kind of different, like each state, and like different food, different culture, different language. So yeah, I'm a little bit gutted. Well, obviously I'm gutted, but I could be in a worse situation. So I'm just happy that and appreciate that like I'm safe and grateful, you know, I have a house and food.
What got you first into traveling, I would say? Was it something that you were into when you were young, or was it something that you sort of fell with whilst you were in university? How did it come about?
It stems from like my love of animals because I was always like, I want to go volunteer with animals, and for some reason, because my favorite animals are like big cats, I wanted to go to Africa.
Okay.
Anyway, so when I was in my second year of uni, I had no like passion for what I was doing anymore because I just felt like there was no meaning in it. So I did fashion, which is completely different. When people say like, "Oh wow, did you do fashion?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like I the creativity for me wasn't like there anymore because I didn't see like a purpose. So I took a year out and I'd been saving because I was working as well. And I finally like had enough money to go volunteer over there like with animals that had been like rescued.
Which part of Africa was this? Sorry.
Bloemfontein, so
Oh,
South
Bloemfontein,
Africa.
South Africa. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so from then like I completely like came out of my comfort zone because I was super shy growing up. And
Yeah.
it's like as soon as I got there, I was talking like the most, and it was crazy because it wasn't really me. Because usually I hide behind people, and but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just like everything about it, like the people. There was like people from so many different countries. Like the atmosphere because it was just out in the middle of nowhere. It was just like you could see all the stars and see that the earth was like round. Obviously being around the animals and stuff. So from then, like I really like came out of myself,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
just feel like so from there, and like even like doing my projects for fashion. So I ended up then looking at like recycled materials and sustainability and stuff. But like my what did you say? My inspiration comes from, visiting new places and cultures and not like copying them, but just it makes me feel good. So then I feel more like creative and everything. And then I just found like actually like appreciating like nature more and stuff that's around you. So yeah. And
Well,
I don't know, like I feel like compared to like a Western culture, which is one of like I'm not gonna talk about it, but like one of the big issues right now, like we just take so much for granted and there's so much like damage going on, and I just think stepping back out of the Western culture, you so like you just appreciate more and people appreciate each other more, and it's just nice to be around. And obviously like I'm not saying it's perfect, it's nowhere near perfect, but for me when I experienced it, like I felt so much love and like people are sharing more and
you mentioned that you were someone that was really shy, but traveling really helped me over the last, 10,
hmm
15 years and stuff. So it goes to show you how it can open you up as an individual and
Definitely.
grow as a person.
Yeah, 100%. Like I found like people are more attracted to you as well when you're traveling, especially on your own. Like I'll just get random people like starting to talk to me because I was not with people and I wasn't hiding behind people at the time. So I don't know if you felt the same. Like I just feel like people are more drawn to wanting to know you or talk to you when you're not in like a group or
People want to know your experiences,
yeah.
what you've gone through and stuff. I think sometimes I think especially because just I didn't mention actually, Chloe does actually live in the UK, and she's based in Leicestershire, which is in the Midlands, if no one knows where that is. Being from the UK, sometimes people, when you tell them about some of your success or you've been there, done this and stuff, sometimes people look at it and go, oh yeah, but have you done this? They try and sometimes knock you down straight away.
Yeah.
But the good ones will always listen to you and say, oh, it's amazing, how can I draw inspiration from that? And those are the type of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that I get sort of joy out of.
I think as well as like it's like being open, to hear what other people have to say. Like you, like I always like people ask me like, "Oh, I want to know about your experience," but then it's like they shut you down. So then I'm like, before, like I was like, "Oh, am I doing something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Do they not like me?" But now I'm like, maybe they just don't want to listen because of whatever's going on with them. But like, and it's the same for me. Like I need to always be like, okay, they don't want to listen, but I can just be open to hear what they want to say, or so
One of the things I would also say is, because sometimes people see your life and think, oh, it's an amazing life, what you live in. And stuff. But actually, you don't, because one part of traveling, especially, is that the struggles. You've got to sacrifice
oh
a lot of
yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
Let's, some of the trips I've done over the last 10, 15 years, I had to sacrifice a lot. So, sometimes you can't go out for months,
No,
knowing
yeah.
that you have to sort of get to this place and you're there for like a month and stuff. You can't just constantly, go out partying and stuff. I mean, when I was younger, the temptation was there.
I think like having bad experiences is good for us to learn as well, like, and
Absolutely.
so many things, like, and it's important to tell people that as well. Like some people think again like, oh, you're on holiday, da da da, it's the best time ever, I'm so jealous. Like we can look at anyone and be jealous because most people just show the good stuff on, I guess, on Instagram and stuff. Um, but like when I was living in Australia, I was doing internships out there. I was having like Australia's amazing and like it's hot.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
would think I'm having barbecues. I had no money because some of the stuff that went on. Like I ended up having to work another job. And living like with a family that were like super rude, and I just kind of was
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was not the easiest time, and I ended up having to go work in that like the outbacks, even though like I was there to do internship, which was fun, but because they see you as like a backpacker, they don't pay you the right wage.
Yeah.
um so yeah, but it was a part of an experience that does kind of make you stronger. And it's good to go through times where you have to like work for what
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got and
Well,
struggle and
you appreciate it more, don't you? So when
yeah,
you achieve it and you
exactly.
think, oh, actually, I've got, and I think you said something before about liking and getting that respect. So
Hmm.
sometimes I think again, it's in our nature for people to like us. However,
Yeah,
I think it got to a point where I said to myself, actually, it doesn't matter if someone likes me or not, as long as they respect me.
yeah,
That's probably more important. And I think if you're constantly striving for someone to like you, then it's going to be a point where you're going to feel bad about yourself.
definitely. And it's about you liking you. That's first, number one. You
Absolutely.
have to like yourself first. And then I feel like when you realize that, that's when it doesn't matter so much about other people because you're so, I'm not saying you're content all the time, like we have ups and downs, but like when you like yourself, you're more likely to be a better person or
Yeah.
do good things for yourself, which then means you might do more good things for other people. And naturally, like I think people will be more drawn to you anyway.
I want to ask you about this condition that you've got,
Mhm.
and obviously, from what you've told us so far, it hasn't stopped you, and it's
Yeah.
fibromyalgia. So
Mhm.
just tell us what that is and what that involves.
Basically, like chronic fatigue and chronic pain. So they're like the two main symptoms that you get, and they're quite constant. And I think it varies between people, but from my experience before I started, like, I'll tell you later on about the diet I'm on. It was like, it was getting worse, which is why I went to like the doctors and kept having tests. And I was like, there's definitely something more wrong with me because I thought I was going crazy. It was like I'd wake up tired, in pain, like I was like I had a hangover and it would last throughout the day, and I'd get pain through all my body, my legs, down my arms. Um, like it was hard to sleep at night. I'd barely like I'd sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up. Um, like forgetting things all the time. I just felt like I was a little bit like just losing it. Like I thought, oh, maybe I just can't handle it like other people can handle it. Maybe everyone feels this tired all the time or gets painful and
You've only been
mm,
diagnosed for the past year, haven't you? Is that
yeah.
correct? So
hmm
you started feeling these sort of symptoms about a year ago, and you couldn't figure out what it was, and then
So basically, since I was probably, I would say, I think it was like when I left school, so about 16, I had like stomach problems. So I was tested like for like Crohn's and what's it called? Ulcerative colitis and stuff. But like there was never enough evidence. Like I think I did have a few ulcers, and they're like, oh, it's probably IBS. So I was always like figuring like what that was, and then like other symptoms came, but I just didn't just like put them together. Like it was just like little niggly things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it wasn't like until say like the year before when all these symptoms started to come. Um, so yeah, and then it was just like more tests, loads of blood tests. They kept saying, "Oh, I have low iron," and then when my iron was up, it was like there was no more excuses of it's low iron.
Yeah.
So then they sent me to like a rheumatoid arthritis specialist, and they said I don't have that, and that's when they diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. So it's basically very similar symptoms to rheumatoid arthritis, apart from it doesn't like directly damage like your joints and stuff and your bones. It's basically like your nervous system.
Hmm.
I guess it attacks that. I'm not like there's it's a very like weird um illness because it's not classed as like a disability, and some doctors don't agree with it because there's no like center to it or like proper evidence around it of I guess where like what triggers it or where it comes from.
Hmm.
It's like very weird weird thing to have for me as well, especially because one of the things is like you look healthy.
How much of an impact has it made then? Because from what you were telling us, you were about to go to India. It doesn't seem
Mm.
like you've let it get to you, and it seems like you're trying to, live your life, and I think that's important, isn't it, for people to hear?
Yeah. I would say the most important thing for me, before I tell you the rest, like I am feeling loads better right now because of the way I'm managing it.
Mm.
Um, but the most important thing for me, because of like, and this is no comparison to anyone, this is just very specifically for me, for stuff I've been through in my life that have caused me trauma or like mental health problems. I have become very like resilient and also like a thirst for like living like, and I think because of that like I don't let anything stop me. Like it was very upsetting when they told me it was this because there's no cure in the Western world for it. And I was like, oh gosh, like I'm gonna have to struggle every day just trying to fight feeling like having to get out of bed. Um, so for me that like was mentally hard, but like because I think I've struggled with mental health and then I've built myself up with like techniques and reading and talking to people. Um, I was able to like manage it in a different way. Like, okay, I can have a little cry and break down, but I'm gonna step back up and do something about it. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna take Western medicine that's gonna make me feel worse. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna look through food. I'm gonna look through herbal medicines. So yeah, and then that's when if you're happy for me to talk about this part,
Yeah,
but then
absolutely. Go ahead.
that's when I came to trying the Ayurvedic diet.
Yeah.
So basically, my nan went to her health shop like straight away when I was diagnosed with it. Because I guess she's the one who got me into like all herbal, looking into herbal stuff. She's all like natural. So I'm vegan as well. And I, when I went vegan, it helped with my stomach, so it did calm it down. Um, but yeah, from the Ayurvedic thing. So she went to her health shop, and his family originally from Ahmedabad, which is where I was going to in India, which was like crazy. It felt like fate. But his like teacher, his guru, was based in Ahmedabad, and I was going out to India already, like booked on and everything. So when I was out there, I went to see him, and honestly, like I'm not someone who believes in something like magic, I guess. But it felt like that. Like he didn't even touch me, and he told me my symptoms. He told me how I got my symptoms. I guess he would not call it fibromyalgia. He didn't call it anything. It's like I have a problem with my breathing, and my stomach is like damaged, and then it causes all the other symptoms and pains. So I'm on a very like strict diet at the minute. So it's literally like 2 meals a day, mung beans, mung dal, selected vegetables, and like spices, um, and then some like the Ayurvedic medication as well. And honestly, from the first week I went on it, I could sleep. The pain was like 50% better. Um, I honestly, it just felt like a miracle. Like right now, I am not perfect and I'm not being as strict. Like I'm still having 2 meals a day. It's just maybe like through the day I might have something I shouldn't have now and again, not every day. But I have been doing it since November, so it's definitely had like a magical effect, and I'm gonna hopefully from next week gonna try go cold turkey for a month as well, just
Okay.
because when I've done it like strict, and I'm feeling great, I can basically like not be as strict with it. Um, so it just maybe like I'll just have mung soup once a week for a day or something. That's what he was saying. So really, like whether you've got this illness or something else, like I'm not saying this obviously is going to heal everyone, and I'm not completely healed yet, like, and I'm yet to find out if it does, but it has improved my life so much, like so much. Like I can keep like trying to advertise it, but I think it's different for everybody. Like everybody has a different body, and I think they would have to specifically go see like an Ayurvedic doctor to, be put on something for them. Um, but obviously that like then links into other things. Like I do like a lot of yoga and movement, which is that movement is amazing, even if it's for 5 minutes, because it just puts you in a better mood, and like makes you more aware of things as well, like being more mindful, which then hopefully will help you with your eating and
Yeah.
looking after yourself. My Instagram in my bio, I've recently done a blog post with like tips, and one of them is about this. So if anyone obviously wants to have a look at the tips, and then not again, it's not just for people with like illnesses, like if you struggle with pain, like sleeping problems, stress, like all of like the things that I've got on there kind of cater to everyone in some sort of way.
I've got huge admiration for what you've done, because as I said to you, you're still doing what you want to do, and
Hmm.
especially when it comes to going out to somewhere like India when it's so warm, and do you sometimes worry that it's gonna have a negative effect on your body and you might not be able to do stuff?
It is really like, yeah, taking it day by day. I don't know. Like I said, I think it is my like drive for really wanting to, like the love of being there and the love of traveling that keeps me going. But like when I'm out there, I would say before I started this diet and stuff, the last time I went, like I was worried because it was just as I was diagnosed and I went with a friend to start with, and I was more worried like about disappointing her, like if I was tired. So I would always, I think I keep myself like accountable by being aware of who's around me as well, or like say like getting up in the morning. I worry that they think I'm being lazy, or this is not, by the way, a good way to deal with it. I think talking to people is the best way and trying to manage it with some of the tips that I've like shared. But they were like my struggles really. Like the heat makes you really tired,
Mm,
but then I don't want people thinking I'm lazy or I don't want to do
yeah.
stuff. They were the struggles more than anything. But it's being kind to yourself and talking to people, and which goes back to our point earlier, like not everybody has to believe you or like you, like, but if you share it with them, that's like a step for you, and then anything, however they are about with it, like that's on them. That's not on you.
Your resilience from what you've just said is just off the chart. So if anyone's listening and hasn't got any sort of conditions and are lazy and not want to do stuff, listen to this lady here.
For some people, maybe that do struggle and they don't have an illness and want to do stuff, like it's really about like thinking about what's going up here, like
Yeah,
learn it, like read, like if you struggle like to get up in the morning, read things that help other people, like try things. Like the one of the main things that I was talking about in my blog that I wrote a few days ago is be open to try new things. Like if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. If it works for someone else, that's great. Like, but just be open to trying it. Like maybe try put an alarm on and actually just get out of bed when it first goes off,
yeah,
even if it's awful. Like it is awful. I hate it, but I've been trying to do that recently to get into like some healthy routine. And like when I get up, I try to do some form of exercise, even if it's for like 10 minutes. Just because when I do, I feel awesome after. Like that doesn't work for everyone. Like everyone is different. I think, like I said, just be open to trying new things. And if you really want to do something, like it's not gonna happen for you. You have to do it. But just make a small step. You don't have to do the full thing. Like, oh, I want to go to China or something, but you're too scared. Like, just start by doing some research on China or talking to someone who's been to China, like little steps, and it will get you there.
I want to go on to some of your favorite things about traveling, and
Hmm.
you spoke about India quite a bit. So, is it India your favorite place to travel around?
I think it's got to be a yes because obviously I'm very drawn to going back there. But it's really to do. I love everything, most things about it, not everything, because I don't love every place for everything. But I think it's due to the people that I've met there mostly because they just made me feel like family, and I just feel so warm around them, and they do. Like I have friends there that like call me like daughter, and she
Mm,
messages me every day, and it's just so nice. I love a lot of things about India. Like obviously the food is
yeah.
amazing, the
Well,
warmth, and like how like when we like sit down and eat, it's like you sit down together and you share. And I feel like in this Western world, it's very much like, oh, this is my food, don't touch it.
yeah.
Um,
If you notice the culture, especially in that part of the world, everyone's close to one another.
yeah.
Families are close to
Hmm.
one another. I think that sometimes that's maybe slightly lacking in our sort of culture.
Like I speak to a friend a lot about like this thing, and obviously there's things I don't see because I don't understand everything that's going on. I'm trying to learn the language that I go to the most, but it's not as fast as I'd like it to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, but so there are things I don't see, but I think it's really like some Western people go over there thinking they know everything, but we could learn so much from, going to different places, just learning and talking to people, not but presuming because you've read a book.
Mm.
And vice versa, like, yeah, there's things that we can take to other places, but it's about vice versa. Like, there's good things and bad things in all places.
Apart from India, what other places would you say has sort of you've gone to? And I know you mentioned Africa. What would you say that has sort of opened your eyes up to life?
South Africa and India are my like top ones because of India because and South Africa because it was like the first place that I traveled alone, and there was just so much, like I said, about it, like the people that I met, the animals that were there, like the nature, the sky. There was obviously some things there that were like very eye-opening as well.
What do you mean by it was an eye opener and it was sad to see it? If you just elaborate a little bit on that.
Um, Again, it's the current issue of, you know, is racism, and I don't know why I thought this, and I don't know why people have made me feel like this, and it's very like hidden. Um, I thought that like South Africa wasn't so racist anymore for some reason or other. And I went there, and honestly, like all the like managers of places were white, like all the workers, there was no workers that were white,
Right.
all upper class.
Because I've been to South Africa myself, so I did the entire country really. So I did the north all the way down to the south, and I tell people this because again, I was a bit how would you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Naive before I went.
Mm.
And I thought same thing, apartheid is what you're talking about. Had disappeared, had gone, had finished back in
Mm.
'92 or '93
Yeah.
when Nelson Mandela was released. However, from what I saw, it wasn't the case because, and you hear a lot of white South Africans say, "Oh, they've got it bad," but trust me, the black South Africans have had it bad and still have it bad because,
Yeah.
for example, I was staying in hotels and it felt like I was in a American movie back in the
Yeah.
1940s, where the the people that were waiting on you were dressed in like maid dresses and they were all black as well.
Mm.
And I sort of had to look twice and go, is this right here at the minute where they're all black workers? But then when I spoke to them, they were saying a lot of the bigger jobs still go to the white South Africans, and
Hmm.
like a chef job in this country is seen as a big job, but in
Hmm.
South Africa it wasn't. It was seen as you're in the back, you're away from the customers, sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it that was a bit of a big shock to myself. But again, I think travel is all about these sort of moments. You see, so it's there to sort of open your eyes.
Again, like people don't have to travel to obviously find stuff like this out, but it does open your eyes of how much is covered up.
Yeah,
Like you said, I might have a picture of the Empire State Building, but I've done no research or background information on it. Like I might not even know, what's going on behind that.
yeah.
And I think it's the same. Like people go on holiday, and we're in these like complexes. They don't really know what's going on unless you go out and interact with local people, speak to local people,
Yeah.
and listen to what people have to say. Like, you don't know until you've spoken to people or been there, and then it's about then speaking to people yourself. When you find this stuff out, talk to people. It's not like it's not right. Talk to people.
For me, traveling is all about uniting as one,
Hmm.
and then people getting together and seeing things with each other and stuff, and because you can get thousands of different people from different countries all around the world with religions, different ethnic backgrounds or whatnot. But I've done it where, unite as one. And then when you go back to your own country or back to your own home and stuff, that sort of almost, I don't know, disappears. And for me, it doesn't. It stays with me, and that's what's changed me over the years. And I think it's important people see that.
And I guess, like, we're in this society where everything's very much like mechanical now. And it's like you can't really step out of it. They just mask things up, and without stepping out, like, or talking out after you've seen it, like, you're not gonna learn about what's going on. And it's like people don't speak about it as well because it doesn't immediately affect them.
Yeah.
Whether it's, racism, like what's going on with the environment, inequality, like, garment workers, for God's sake, with like fast fashion, and like people don't care about them because they can't see it. And it's like all this stuff, like all the stuff like on my values now, like I used to do fashion and I didn't know. I had no clue like what was going on. I didn't look into it. Why would I care? It doesn't affect me. And then from traveling, my eyes were just like open. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, what's the point in like fashion if there's no like purpose behind it? There's no like empowerment behind it. But they can be. They can be. But you need to learn about it and talk about it. And you shouldn't do things to empower yourself if they don't empower the people, or if they make other people struggle or not empowered. Like, you see these t-shirts that say like girl power or something on them, or sustainable, but they're made from like cotton where the farmer's not getting paid properly, and there's like chemicals, and the garment workers being abused and she's not getting a fair pay. And then there's so many issues, like, and they're all the same issues that keep repeating themselves.
I'll finish on just saying that obviously there's a lot of work to be done, and
Sorry, I always get passionate about these things.
No, not so. And it's sticking together, I think, and uniting as one is a major factor. And I think everyone's voice is really important in these sorts of situations. Dale is based in Boston and has asked, what have you seen in India culture society that you believe would make the UK or the US more like them?
I would say, like I said earlier about the sharing, like having food together with your family and friends is such. We like sit in front of the TV now or sit alone because we're so busy. Just take time put like a time on it. Say I'm having dinner at 5 and sit down at the table together or sit on the floor together, and maybe put dishes out and share food instead of, oh, this is mine, and pass it around. Like, I can't tell you how nice it feels to like share your food and interact with people and speak about your day. Like, I did this when I was younger, but now it's just gone out of the window because we all work different times, or they want to watch TV.
Yeah.
And it's like you have no like connection anymore, or like it's just stress. I think having like non-attachment to like physical things is very important. It is hard. It's very hard. Like I get attached to things still, but I'm trying to be less attached and trying to minimize things because it's distractions as well.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the things that I've picked up whilst traveling is that material stuff doesn't really mean much to me anymore. So I'll happily admit that I don't really buy clothes for myself. And if I do buy something, it'll be like a top abroad somewhere, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then you might see the same top from like 5-6 years ago, but it's okay. I don't think, and I think that's the other problem, isn't it? Where people start judging you. Oh, you wore that top a couple of weeks ago.
The thing like they're trying to change now, like for the stuff I follow, like with the fast fashion thing. Like when I was younger, like I wouldn't want to go out in the same dress because I was scared. Or like, she's wearing the same dress out again. And now it's like rewear it. Like what is wrong with rewearing it? Like maybe like our parents and stuff would probably have like two dresses maximum for
Yeah.
like their whole upbringing. Like it's I don't know, now it's all about image, isn't it, rather than who we are.
From what you've gone through to what you're doing now, and it's, as I said to you, I've got real admiration for everything that's gone through, and as I said to you, I can't, I'm not in your situation, so I don't know what it's like, but to go through the struggles and still live life to the full is, I said to you, it's kudos to yourself. So Chloe, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you being honest and really open about what you've been through, what you're going through, and all of your experiences and stuff.
Hopefully, at some point, I'll be out there. So,
So,
yeah, it would be good. And the main thing is, like, I just hope people don't feel stuck if they're not feeling great, and
yeah,
that they can be open to like trying things and stuff, or just talk to people. And most people want to help.
thank you very
It
much,
was lovely
and
talking to you.
absolutely no problem at all. I'll have you back on anytime soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Amazing talk, and if you'd like to connect with Chloe, you can follow her on Instagram under the handle Chloe Poker. That's it for Take a Wonder with Shebs. Hope to see you all very soon. Until next time, bye for now.